Your lavender looks full, healthy, and greener than ever. New stems keep appearing. The plant seems to be thriving. But when bloom season arrives, the flowers never do. Or maybe you get just a handful of purple spikes, while a neighbor's lavender is covered in color. That usually isn't bad luck, and it often isn't a variety either. One of the most common mistakes gardeners make actually encourages lavender to grow exactly what they don't want: more leaves instead of more flowers. Before you reach for fertilizer, pruning shears, or another watering can, it's worth understanding how lavender decides when it's time to bloom. That single piece of plant biology explains why some plants burst into flowers year after year, while others stay stubbornly green. The first thing to know is that flowering isn't a reward for keeping a plant lush and leafy. It's a survival strategy. In nature, lavender blooms to produce seed and ensure the next generation. Before it commits that energy, the plant quietly evaluates its environment. Is there enough sunlight? Are the roots healthy? Is the soil dry enough to breathe? Does the plant sense it's growing in conditions similar to the rocky Mediterranean hillsides where lavender evolved? That's why a lavender plant can look perfectly healthy and still refuse to flower. Rich green foliage tells you the plant is producing chlorophyll and actively growing, but it doesn't tell you where that energy is going. If conditions favor leaf production over reproduction, lavender keeps investing in stems and leaves instead of flower buds. One mistake pushes a plant in exactly that direction more than any other: soil that's too rich in nitrogen. Many gardeners add compost, manure, or a high-nitrogen fertilizer because the plant seems slow or underwhelming. The immediate result often looks encouraging. Leaves become greener, growth speeds up, the shrub fills out. It appears healthier than ever. But inside the plant, something very different is happening. Nitrogen is the nutrient that drives vegetative growth. When it's abundant, lavender receives a biological signal that resources are plentiful, so it continues expanding its foliage rather than shifting into reproduction. In other words, the plant keeps building a bigger framework instead of decorating it with flowers. If your lavender has become larger every year, but the blooms have become fewer, that pattern alone is a strong clue that the problem may not be a lack of nutrients. It may be too much of the wrong kind. And before you change the soil, there's another condition that has to be right first. Even perfectly balanced soil can't make lavender bloom. If the plant isn't getting enough of one resource, it simply can't store for later. That resource is sunlight, and for lavender, there's no substitute. Many flowering plants will tolerate a little afternoon shade and still put on a respectable display. Lavender is different. Most commonly grown varieties perform best with at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sun each day, and in many parts of the United States and southern Canada. Even more sun often leads to stronger flowering. The reason comes down to energy. Every flower spike costs the plant a tremendous amount of carbohydrates to produce. Those carbohydrates are manufactured through photosynthesis. If sunlight is limited, the plant has to make choices. It protects its leaves and stems first because they keep the plant alive. Flower production becomes secondary. This is why a lavender planted against a north-facing fence, beneath the edge of a tree canopy, or where a nearby shrub has slowly grown larger over the years may bloom less with each passing season. Nothing appears dramatically wrong. The plant stays alive. It often stays green, but as the available sunlight gradually declines, flowering quietly declines with it. Commercial lavender growers notice this pattern quickly because uniform blooming is essential. A row receiving uninterrupted sunlight consistently produces fuller, more even flower spikes than a row shaded for just part of the day. Home gardens can show the same contrast, even when two plants receive identical watering and care. A simple way to check is to watch your lavender, not the clock. Notice when direct sunlight actually reaches a plant and when it disappears behind a building, fence, or tree. Many gardeners are surprised to discover their full sun location only receives 4 or 5 hours during late spring, just as flower buds should be developing. But even a lavender sitting in perfect sunlight can still hesitate to bloom if something below the soil surface is working against it. The next place to investigate isn't the top of the plant. It's the root system, where one of the most overlooked flowering problems begins. Healthy roots need more than water. They need oxygen. And that's where many lavender plants begin to struggle without showing obvious warning signs. In its native Mediterranean habitat, lavender grows in rocky, Gravelly soils where rain drains away quickly. After a storm, air moves back into the soil almost immediately, allowing the roots to breathe. Those conditions shape how the plant evolved over thousands of years. In a typical home garden, the situation can be very different. Heavy clay soil, oversized containers without good drainage, or frequent watering can keep the root zone damp for days. Even if the surface looks dry, the soil a few inches below may still be holding plenty of moisture. When that happens, oxygen levels around the roots begin to drop. The roots become less efficient at absorbing water and nutrients, and the plant shifts its priorities. Instead of investing energy in flowering, it focuses on staying alive under stressful conditions. That survival response often means fewer flower buds, shorter flower spikes, or no blooms at all. This is one reason overwatering is so misleading. Gardeners usually expect an overwatered plant to wilt immediately, but lavender often stays green for quite some time. The leaves can look healthy enough to convince you that watering is helping, even while the roots are becoming less active below the surface. A quick check can reveal a lot. Push your finger or a moisture probe several inches into the soil, not just a top layer. If it still feels consistently damp days after watering or rainfall, the roots may never begin to dry. Well-aerated conditions they need to trigger strong flowering. Even when the soil drains well and the roots are healthy, there's another surprisingly common mistake that can remove this year's blooms before they ever have a chance to open. It usually happens with the best of intentions and a pair of pruning shears. Pruning is one of the best things you can do for lavender, but timing matters just as much as the cut itself. Many gardeners notice their lavender becoming woody or untidy and decide to give a hard trim in early spring or just before bloom season. The plant looks neater afterward, but weeks later, the flowers are disappointing or missing altogether. It can feel as though the pruning encouraged new growth, yet somehow prevented blooming. The explanation is surprisingly simple. Flower spikes develop from specific points on the current season's growth, which is produced from healthy stems left after the previous year's pruning. If you remove too much of that young growth just as flower buds are forming, you're not only shaping the plant, you may also be removing the stems that were preparing to bloom. There's another risk. Lavender doesn't regenerate from old, leafless wood as readily as many shrubs do. Once a stem has become thick, woody, and bare, cutting deeply into that section often results in very slow regrowth, or none at all. That's why experienced growers usually shape lavender lightly after flowering, maintaining a compact mound while leaving plenty of green growth to fuel next season's flowers. Age also changes how lavender performs. A young plant in its first year often concentrates on building roots before producing an impressive floral display. At the other end of the spectrum, an older lavender that hasn't been maintained gradually becomes woody in the center. The outer stems keep growing, but the plant's energy is spread across aging branches that are less productive than they once were. If your lavender is 3, 5, or even 10 years old, don't judge it by age alone. Look at its structure. A compact plant with vigorous green shoots is far more likely to flower well than a sprawling shrub with a large, bare center. That raises another important question. If two gardeners grow the very same lavender variety, follow nearly identical care routines, and still see completely different bloom times, the answer often has less to do with the plant itself and much more to do with where they live. Climate has a bigger influence on lavender than many gardeners realize. A care routine that produces spectacular blooms in California may need small adjustments in Ontario, Scotland, or the English Midlands. Not because anyone is doing something wrong, but because the plant is responding to a different growing season. Lavender relies on a combination of warming temperatures, increasing daylight, and stable weather before it commits to flowering. If spring stays unusually cool or a late frost damages tender new shoots, the plant often delays bloom production while it replaces that growth. The lavender survives, but flowering can be lighter or arrive weeks later than expected. This is especially noticeable across different USDA hardiness zones. In warmer regions, such as zones 8 and 9, many English lavenders begin blooming in late spring and may even produce a second, smaller flush if conditions remain favorable. In cooler areas like zones 5 and 6, flowering often starts later because the soil warms more slowly and the growing season is shorter. Gardeners in the UK see similar differences from south to north, while Canadian growers often notice bloom times shifting significantly depending on local temperatures and elevation. The variety you grow also matters. English lavender, Lavender angustifolia, is prized for its cold tolerance and dependable flowering in cooler climates. Lavender hybrids, Lavender intermedia, usually produce longer flower stems and larger displays, but they often perform best where summers are warmer and the season is long enough for those flower spikes to fully develop. That's why comparing your plant to photos online, or even to a friend's garden a few towns away, can be misleading. Two healthy lavender plants can bloom at different times simply because they're responding to different environmental cues. Before assuming your lavender has failed, compare this year's weather with previous seasons. A cooler, wetter spring may explain part of the delay. But if your plant has produced fewer flowers year after year, regardless of the weather, there's one final area worth examining. It isn't above ground at all. It's the space your roots have, or don't have, to grow. Roots need room to function efficiently. But with lavender, more space isn't always better. The goal is a healthy, well-aerated root system, not one sitting in excess, moisture-filled soil. This becomes especially important for lavender grown in containers. A common mistake is moving a small plant into a pot that's far larger than its root ball, assuming it will have plenty of room to grow. In reality, the unused potting mix around those young roots stays wet much longer after watering. The roots occupy only a small portion of the container, while the surrounding soil holds moisture they can't use. That creates the same problem we discussed earlier, reduced oxygen around the roots. The plant may continue producing green shoots, but the conditions aren't ideal for abundant flowering. On the other hand, a lavender that's been in the same container for several years can become root-bound. The roots circle the inside of the pot, leaving very little fresh growing medium to hold air, water, and nutrients in balance. Water may run straight through without soaking evenly, or the root ball may dry out much faster than expected. Both situations put the plant under stress during the weeks when flower buds should be developing. If you're growing lavender in a container, slide the plant out of its pot once a year, preferably in early spring or after flowering. Healthy roots should be firm and light in color. If they're tightly wrapped around the root ball, it's time to move up just one pot size, not several sizes larger. Use a gritty, fast-draining mix rather than one designed for thirsty annual flowers. For lavender planted in the ground, check the soil around the crown, the point where the stems meet the roots. If mulch, compost, or accumulated soil has buried that area, gently clear it away. Keeping the crown exposed improves airflow and helps it dry more quickly after rain, reducing stress that can interfere with flowering. When you put all of these pieces together, a pattern begins to emerge. Lavender rarely refuses to bloom because of a single mysterious problem. More often, it's responding exactly as its biology has programmed it to respond. Once you understand those signals, the solution becomes much clearer and often much simpler than most gardeners expect. If your lavender isn't blooming, resist the urge to change everything at once. Making several adjustments together, adding fertilizer, watering more often, pruning heavily, and moving the plant, makes it almost impossible to tell which change actually helped. Instead, work through the plant's needs in the same order lavender does. Start with sunlight. Is it truly receiving 6 to 8 or more hours of direct sun during the growing season? Next, check the soil. Does water drain away within a reasonable time, or does the root zone stay damp for days? Then think back to what has been added over the past year. Extra compost, manure, or a lawn fertilizer drifting into the bed may have supplied far more nitrogen than lavender needs. After that, look at the plant itself. Is it young and still establishing? Has it become woody with very little fresh green growth? Was it pruned at the wrong time? Is it growing in a container that's either too large or packed with circling roots? Each answer points toward a different solution, and together they explain the vast majority of flowering problems seen in home gardens. The encouraging news is that lavender is remarkably consistent. Once it's growing, the conditions evolve for plenty of sun, lean, well-drained soil, healthy root aeration, and careful pruning. It usually responds with stronger flowering over the following seasons. Not overnight and not by magic, but because you removed the obstacles that kept it focused on survival instead of reproduction. The next time your lavender produces lush green leaves but very few flowers, Don't ask what you should add. Ask what signal the plant is responding to. In most cases, the answer's been there all along, written in the way lavender naturally grows. And once you learn to read those signals, you'll spend far less time guessing and a lot more time enjoying the blooms you've been waiting for. One final point is worth understanding. Lavender flowering is also connected to the plant's natural yearly rhythm. Many gardeners expect a young or recently disturbed lavender to return immediately to its best display, but the plant often needs time to rebuild its structure. After transplanting, dividing, severe pruning, or recovering from a difficult season, lavender may direct more energy toward rebuilding roots and new shoots. That can mean fewer flowers for a period of time, even when the plant is receiving good care. The plant is not failing. It is simply allocating its limited energy where it matters most. This is also why patience plays a role with perennial plants. A lavender that looked disappointing one season may perform much better the following year after its roots become established and the growing conditions stabilize. For gardeners in colder regions, winter protection can also influence the next bloom cycle. Lavender generally dislikes winter moisture more than winter cold itself. A plant that survives the season but experiences repeated freezing and thawing around wet roots may enter spring with damaged stems and fewer healthy buds. Good drainage and avoiding heavy, moisture-holding mulch around the crown are often more valuable than excessive protection. So when lavender refuses to bloom, the answer usually isn't a stronger fertilizer, more water, or a drastic rescue treatment. The answer is understanding the environment the plant is asking for. Give lavender the conditions it evolved to love: abundant sunlight, fast-draining soil, moderate watering, thoughtful pruning, and enough time to establish. When those needs are met, flowering becomes a natural result rather than something you have to force. A healthy lavender plant doesn't need to be pushed into blooming. It needs the right signals to know that blooming is the best use of its energy. And once those signals are in place, that familiar purple display many gardeners are hoping for becomes much more likely season after season.